Project update on the Vette. We have Dynamat in. Mostly high coverage areas are pretty much just up front. We had two different kinds. We're getting this acoustic liner in. This is a underlayment replacement. It's a double layer foam. It's acoustic material as well as just a carpet underlayment replacement. So that is partially done. Rear is all Dynamated. That needs a lot of help. There's a big old crack you can see there. So that is going to get all refiberglass, the battery box. Front of the engine doesn't have much. I'm working on wiring harness. So I'm rewrapping the whole harness. Also, I pulled every single connector out of the housings because they're really easy. And then I cleaned them all. So all the contacts are brand new and clean. Replaced any wires that needed it, but the wires are actually in pretty good shape. So yeah, rewrapping, doing a quick, there's 3 different tapes I use. One is regular old electrical tape for like securing stuff in place and adding a spiral just so stuff isn't kind of going everywhere. Plus it makes the Tessa tape easier to stick to. So I have 2 different kinds of this tape. So this is a high heat engine tape. It's pretty stiff and you cannot tear this stuff. Yeah, that's the high heat. So that goes on the engine side. This is the air conditioning harness. Engine side gets this kind, the high heat kind, and then this stuff is fuzzier. This fuzzy side, this is just interior because it's much cheaper than this stuff. This is like, for one of these rolls is like 10 bucks. These are much cheaper. 5 rolls was probably like 12 bucks. So yeah, so that's on the interior side, gets this fuzzy coating. Engine gets this, and then this holds it all together. Repinning, doing some, I didn't feel like paying for new harnesses, so that's what you get. Some stuff's melted. This is just a relay, so I'm just going to replace this plug with a regular automotive relay to get it to run. I believe this runs the AC compressor. Not entirely sure. Yeah, so that's the update for now. Stuff keeps rolling in. I have a ton of custom electrical stuff, a PWM fan controller. I'm going to add some, if anybody has ever driven what was this, an early 2000s Saab that had this, it was like a flight mode or night mode or something like that they borrowed from the fighter jets, where you could turn off all of the dash lights except for like just the speedometer and just like normal highway range plus low range of the speedometer, so that everything was really dark. I'm going to add that to this thing by just adding a second set of lights, a dimmable set of LED lights that just light up the speedometer. That's going to be on a button and it's going to be dimmable. That's just completely separate from the rest of the dash lights. So that I'm adding in. I'm adding in all the electric fuel pump system is going to get some electronics. That is going to be a toggle switch where it's off, on, but on won't come on. The way I have it wired, it's not wired up now, but the way I have it planned is you push it, you leave it turned on all the time, and the pump will not run until you crank. But as soon as you start cranking, it will just be on until you ignition off, ignition on, start again. Or you just leave that switch on. If you want it to come on early, you can push a little toggle button, like click, and then that little click will latch it on and it'll stay on then after that. So that's the plan for the fuel pump. Other electronics, pretty big wires for the 2 amps, the 2 speaker amps. They use a lot of power. But those are all going to go in here. The amps, I'm guessing, will either sit down in the bottom here or in this little center section. I'm not entirely sure. It's super close to the battery, which is really nice. And then I can just run the wires through here, up the tunnel, and to the speakers out front. So that is not going to be hard at all. Yeah, so getting stuff together, nothing crazy yet. Yeah, just it's going to be a lot of work on the wiring harness, and the fiberglass job on the battery tray is going to be annoying. Not looking forward to that. Oh, here's a funny thing. I didn't realize I wanted to get some wider tape to do the interior harness because there's a lot of it, and it was in millimeters, and my brain was like, yeah, that's not that wide. Well, that's like wider than athletic tape. It's huge. That is going to be very hard to use, but it wasn't really expensive, so yeah, anyway, I have massive interior harness tape now, so that's cool. Yeah. that's the update.